Welcome everyone to the final commentary track to the Twin Peaks episodes that we've been doing. We've got Brad Dukes back.
What's up?
Josh Eisenstadt.
Hello, hello, hello.
And Scott Ryan.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for doing this. So yeah, we're doing the finale. Are you guys all queued up?
I am.
Yes, sir.
Do we want to chat a bit first, or we just want to go into it and chat over the credits?
Well, I wanted to let people know that I have spent the last 8 hours of my day wrapping the Blue Rose magazine issue 1 in plastic, wearing latex gloves, and packaging them, stamping them, and I am sending them out tomorrow morning. So it's a big day for me, and it's fun that after spending all day doing it, I get to watch the greatest episode of Twin Peaks up to this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're taking a break right now.
I mean,
It's no longer the finale. With this, for people listening in the future, maybe it's March 17th, and we're 60-something days out. So prepare for a lot of baseless speculation.
Mm-hmm. Which also means that, as I was saying.
Oh, still there, Josh? Josh.
Well, at least we lost him before we hit play.
Yeah.
So does someone have to call him, or can he call back in?
Is he?
No, I hear every word. I hear every word you're saying.
He's back. He's back.
I heard every word.
Repeat what you were saying.
Nothing bad.
It's good you didn't, because I heard it all.
What were you saying, Josh?
I was just saying that basically we have to survive nine weeks and 2 more days, Scott.
Challenge accepted.
We both had the feeling that we might not survive to see a new season, so we're almost there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we didn't even know Donald Trump would be president then. So it's
it's a miracle we've survived in that case.
Yeah, we don't even want to.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, Scott, speaking of your magazine, last time we did one of these, that wasn't even a thing that existed, so do you want to tell people about it right now?
Sure. Yeah, we didn't even know about it before, and now it's out there in the world. So it's called the Blue Rose Magazine. You can get it at www.bluerosemag.com. It's available digitally on Amazon and iTunes, and it's available in hardcover format at the website. We've printed issue 1. There's only 600 of them, and when they're gone, they're gone. Issue 2 will go on sale June 24th, and I wish I could tell you what was in it, but we're still keeping it a little close to our... At this point, we're not ready to tell, but it's actually amazing what we have in issue 2. It's very exciting.
And that'll come out with enough time for you to get some thoughts on the premiere and stuff into the issue?
Yes, John Thorne is going to write an essay called "It Actually Happened Again," which he will start writing furiously. My guess is, May 21st, so we can at least talk about the pilot, or something. We won't cover a whole lot because we're going to have to send it to press early, but there will be, a couple pages on, and then obviously issue 3, which comes out October 24th, that will be highly steeped in season 3.
Cool. All right, so... Oh, you got something? Oh, I thought somebody was saying something. All right, we all ready to hit play?
Yes.
We'll do 3, 2, 1, play, okay? So, 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, the bird branch.
Yep. Do you guys want this? What do we want for the titles of the new season? Oh God, I hope there's titles in the first place. So many shows don't have titles anymore.
Oh, they've got to. David Lynch is gonna keep it. He's gonna keep that. But then again, he didn't do it in Inland Empire. He's done it in all of his films. Well, not actually. It's not. Yeah, he's done it pretty much in all of his films except Inland Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, the recording of Falling is just so classic and iconic. it's weird to think if they'll, reimagine or re-record it in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds so timeless. I love
But
that
they
recording.
keep using that slowed down version of Falling and all the, which is making me wonder about that. In all the teasers, they use that slow version of Falling. It makes me wonder if that's going to be in there.
Well, I will say that what I'm looking for in the first episode is the big log. It's only used in the pilot and season 2's premiere. So I want season 3's premiere to have the huge log and then the other episodes to not have it.
And also the huge log with the overhang this time, though, because it's 25 years later and the overhang is now there.
And there's also a big cage around it, though, so...
True.
Yeah.
And the cage, 25 years later.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't do like a shortened intro, like 5 seconds or something, just a little bit of the theme and then right into the show. But wouldn't it be awesome if they recreated this intro shot for shot with the scenes 25 years later, like the locations?
I thought about that maybe they would do that. I thought maybe they would do.
I think it'd be interesting.
What do they do about the mill? Because there's not really much of a mill.
You show the ruins of the mill.
I guess so. Yeah.
So when it says Michael Horse, someone tell me, okay?
Okay. I didn't notice if I missed it already.
Are we up to Lucy and Andy yet, or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Starring Heather Graham, Grace Zabriskie, Dawn Davis, Wendy Roby, Gary Hirschberger. Is Gary back?
Yes.
Gary's back.
Sweet.
He is on the officially released cast list. Now, of course, a lot of us, I'm sure you remember when this originally aired. This and the previous episode aired together as one.
Yeah.
So these credits actually weren't there when on the original airing of it.
Oh, okay.
The credits you're looking at now, because these two aired together.
Yep, I remember that.
So we've got like two extreme close-ups right off the beginning. The two shots of the heads, and now Agent Cooper, and now we get the pan over. And now we get the wide shot. David Lynch loves his close-ups contrasted with his wide shots.
And he loves his wide-angle lenses, the high angle, the wide-angle lens on the master shots. He really loves that particularly.
I love this scene. It really takes me back to the spirit of the mystery we felt before we knew who killed Laura Palmer. It's just the stakes are really heightened here, and it's a feeling that I didn't really feel, in that second half of the second season. It didn't quite hit that level until this scene for me.
Well, it's David Lynch being back too. When he's there, he's got that. He knows how to give you that sense of mystery and that sense of impending doom, that sense of dread that something's coming.
Yeah.
And it sure is. This episode, it sure is going to pay off.
Love it. Love the music at this point too. So what do you guys think of like the whole Glastonbury Grove King Arthur mention here? I know it ties in with the original script that Mark Frost wrote, but the episode as it is, it doesn't, like the whole King Arthur legend seems to be a non sequitur. Like it has nothing to do with anything, does it?
Not in the final version, but there was the bit with in the original Mark Frost script that had the whole Lady in the Lake thing.
Yeah.
But as far as the final version, it's more of a non sequitur, I would say. But we'll see. We've got a whole bunch of new episodes coming up, so maybe not.
Maybe there will be knights in shining armor in every episode.
Possibly. Who knows? It's impossible to predict.
One of the things I am noticing about this scene is that Harry seems to be back too. I feel that his acting sort of went off the rails in the second half of the season, and I feel like in this episode he's pulled back a little bit closer to the pilot Harry.
Right. God, I'm gonna miss him in the new episodes.
Aside from the drunk Truman, I always thought Onkin did really good. I mean, Cooper for me kind of meandered a little bit in his character.
Yeah.
I think Truman kind of stayed more on the tracks than Coop did, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're saying, but I feel like he's a little bit more in control here, and I feel that he isn't as much. And it's almost like the way Michael holds his body language in this scene. And even when and we're not there yet, but obviously when we get to where he's sitting on the bench, like That's a very different scene. But.
Yeah.
But you're right. Coop is great in this scene, especially. Coop's back, like that smile and.
Well, the sheriff, he's just a reactor. He just reacts to things happening around him, so it's probably harder for him to break character in the first place. Because I don't know if he has as strong of a personality as some of these other characters.
Right. But yeah, I think David Lynch kind of brings them all here back to what they originally were.
Yeah.
I want to know what Ronette has been up to all season long.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess a very long
off
recovery.
the grid.
She got a haircut. We know that much.
That's true. I guess it's one of the first things she wanted. I always got the sense, and I guess we'll find out in season 3, but I always got the feeling that after her whole experience, Ronette would completely radically change herself.
Yeah.
And become like practically a nun, like completely non-promiscuous and everything else.
I
always thought that's where Ronette would go, and maybe the cutting her hair was the first step of that. Who knows?
Yeah.
She cuts her hair and she starts,
dressing modestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Wyndham Earle and to Annie, I know that both of these actors are not on the official cast list, but I really hope they end up somewhere in season 3 because, how do you do Twin Peaks 25 years later without these two people playing a part in the story?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Mark Frost was able to do an entire book without mentioning her, so.
This is true.
She's very conspicuously absent, though, and everything around her being conspicuously absent, such as her parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It seems almost intentional to erase her.
Well, I've been spouting this theory out, and since probably when people listen to this, they'll already know if I'm wrong, I might as well say that I like to say that Annie, when she went back in Laura's bed and said, I've been with Dale in the lodge, write it in your diary, that she changed the future that somehow made her past not exist. So I think that's the key to season 3, is that scene in Fire Walk with Me.
You think they'd go that deep into the lore? That'd be really tough for new viewers, I think.
David Lynch doesn't care about new viewers.
I think either that or Annie will be in it, and it's just a big surprise.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
If she's not on the cast list, we're just going to be shocked when she pops up. I mean, I have the same feeling about Chet Desmond, who's not on the cast list also, that he's going to pop up somewhere and be a total surprise.
Because I am crazy, I remember looking up Chris Isaac's tour dates, like last year when they were doing more studio filming, and there was like a big month gap where he was not on the road. So
really,
my fingers are crossed. I hope it happens.
Very nice. That's very good to know.
I'd love it if there were some surprise cameos that weren't on the cast list.
It's fun to see this area after just being there in LA.
Oh, you got to visit this?
Yes, we did. And they had the trees and everything. It was awesome.
Is the little depression in the ground still there a little bit?
It was when Joel Peacock dug it.
Yeah. He dug it out. He dug it out again.
It used to be there. The first time I went was in 2009, and the indention was, crystal clear. But then when I went, I guess last October, it wasn't quite as obvious. All right, so here's one of the big mysteries: is why does Mike have a bandaged head when Bobby Briggs was the guy who got smashed in the face with a log?
Yeah.
Well, he says a tree fell on him. So what I always assumed was that one of the prop trees or something that was in the roadhouse fell on him during all the chaos. That's what I always assumed.
I love how they have matching head wounds.
Yes.
They're meant to be together. This seems so sad.
A precursor to On the Air, because On the Air has a lot of people with head wounds throughout it. It just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But David Lynch has a thing for head wounds anyway. They're played constantly in his films. Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Wild at Heart, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
He loves his head wounds.
What did you guys think of Mike and Nadine? I hated it the first couple times, but I kind of like them now.
It's grown on me over time. I mean, it has some of the most silliest moments in the show, but I don't know. Wendy is so convincing in her role I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to look at the positives rather than the negatives, I guess.
Is that painting behind them lit up?
Yes.
It's got lights in it? Weird.
Nadine invented that.
But that's not a bad invention. It's better than Silent Night Runners, you know.
Yes, and quiet, probably.
Doc Hayward has quite an episode here. I mean, this poor man goes through quite a bit.
Yeah, he does. I've always wondered. That's the other thing. Speaking of the book, the other fun thing that's strange about it is that there's no reference at all about what happened to Ben Horn.
Mm-hmm.
What's about to happen to Ben Horn in the next scene.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty major discrepancy when you start digging into Audrey's motives for going to the vault. When you watch this episode and then when you read the book, I mean, it's hard for me to reconcile a lot of these things, especially when you try to measure something like that towards, you know, the complete absence of Annie. It makes me wonder just what was intentional and what wasn't.
And the different backstory with her parents and Norma's parents. Yeah.
I mean, you could say the Audrey thing I don't understand. I mean, the Norma's parents, I guess you could say it's trying to erase Annie, but the whole thing with Audrey's motivation for going to the bank vault, that one I can't quite reconcile any which way.
And the different ending to the whole Civil War story.
Right.
It isn't your parents' fault.
Now, I've always contended that this can't be as straightforward as it seems. Like, they never come out and say that, you know, Donna, you're my daughter. Like, Ben never says that. Like, they always dance around it, and he never actually says it. So I've always contended that it can't be that simple, and there must be something more to this, but maybe I'm just wishful thinking.
I get the feeling we're never going to know. I just get the feeling it's not going to be brought up. It's just my guess. I think that's just going to be a dangling question mark. I can't see David Lynch going into that storyline anymore.
No, he doesn't remember this.
But he does remember Jan Darcy. Sylvia, here she
That's
is.
true.
He has a great memory for the little details for some reason sometimes.
Heidi being back in season 3 and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
This is your favorite scene, right, Brad?
It's the scene I quote the most.
You're my daddy?
I know. I think of Brad always with this scene. This is synonymous with Brad Dukes to me.
Do you often get to your knees and scream like that too?
No, I just scream "You're my daddy," or that, or the some of Jacques Renault's dialogue in the Roadhouse in Firewalk with Me. That's what I quote the most.
All I ever quote from Jacques Renault is "Candy is what you need."
That's Jean Renault.
Jean Renault. Yes, right.
And everyone jumps on him. Poor man. He makes one little mistake with the Renault brothers.
There's too many J names.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even on the blackboard. Neither was Jacques, for that matter.
It's true.
So one thing that's always bugged me is why Piper Laurie didn't get a scene in this finale.
I know. And
you know, in the original draft of the script, she did. She was in the bank vault.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, and anyone listening to this should go out and read the original script to this episode, because it is equally as weird and bizarre as, you know, what we're watching now, and it's completely different. I mean, the lodge stuff is really out there and very ambitious, but obviously this episode turned out perfect on the screen.
Josh, where was this filmed compared to where we were?
Where they pull up in the car? That is where Wintermill's cabin was. It's the same exact area. The tree they're pulling up in front of is right by where Leo's whittling the arrows. It's right by where the picnic bench is now.
The truck right there for the sheriff's station is literally sitting in Glastonbury Grove. If you turned the camera 90 degrees, you would be seeing that spot.
Oh, okay. I know where it is now. I got you.
And when they walk up the hill, they're walking up
right where the truck was.
Right where we came down, yeah. Right where we walked down, actually. Actually, no, we walked around, I think. There's a lot of locations right in that area.
Now, is Cooper possessed by something right there?
I think he's has a very strong intuition. I don't know. I don't think he's possessed, but it's he has a very strong feeling. He's feeling the energy around him.
He's hooked on a feeling.
Pretty much.
What I love about this scene is you see Cooper enter the other world, but you also get to see Truman witness this, and he's always been the skeptic. And it's for me, it's really cool to see that character realize that all this stuff is real, and it's not.
Yep.
You know, it's way outside of his understanding, but he's finally seeing it with his own eyes.
Makes him go.
Yeah, there's no more question.
Makes him go like basically catatonic for 24 hours.
I'm wondering if this is going to play into his absence in season 3. I'm just real curious about how his absence is going to be explained.
Is it confirmed to be an absence and not a recasting?
The book pretty much does that.
Okay.
The book, when the book introduces Frank Truman, it makes it seem that that's what we're looking at. So I'd say it's not confirmed, but I'd say based on the book, yes.
I would bet my last dime at One-Eyed Jacks that Harry S. Truman won't be recast. Yeah,
okay. I would agree. I think the introduction of Frank Truman in the book is doing that.
But was there anything with Frank Truman in the book that took place after the finale? I thought it was all before.
It was.
It is before, but he didn't exist before if you go to the Twin Peaks Access Guide.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was when we cracked it in that way. And again, I blame this all on Annie. I think Annie's the one that did it. I mean, it's weird because I know that makes time change frontwards and backwards, but...
Do you think Annie literally erased Sheriff Truman?
No, I think she created his brother.
Oh, she created...
Everyone's laughing at me. Now I know how John Thorne feels about his dream theory. I'm saying that ripped time, and there were ripples forward and backward. I'm not saying Annie herself like conjured up people. She just messed up the order of things by telling Laura that. It's just my theory. I'm sure I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
She's basically the Biff Tannen in 2015 that's
exactly.
ruining everything for everybody.
What I'm saying.
Oh, that's why she's got that sports almanac.
Mm-hmm. You're going to find it was in Laura's bed.
Annie's going to be a multimillionaire in season 3.
Yep.
Another big hotel.
Seriously, I mean, I did just watch Firewalk with Me, and, everyone's always said, it's stupid, Laura's not afraid when Annie appears in her bed, but she's afraid when she disappears. And my theory is that's because Laura realizes that time has changed.
Actually, the real reason she's afraid when Annie disappears, the main reason people think she's afraid is because the music gets loud. But actually what she's afraid about is she opens her hand and sees the ring in her hand. That's what she's afraid about.
No, right. She sees the ring in her hand after, but we can...
Where did Cooper's overcoat and flashlight go? That is what I want to know.
In the waiting room.
I think the lodge conjures up I think when somebody enters the lodge, they have a certain, almost their lodge appearance. That's his black lodge appearance, is that suit. The same way Annie's outfit changes in the lodge. Changes to Caroline's back to hers.
And there he is.
That's
the
forwards,
little man
isn't it?
from another place.
Like that wasn't backwards. I don't think
I feel like
this
a lot
is
of
backwards.
I feel like a lot of Cooper's stuff is not backwards in
even
this
him,
episode.
Even him, I think he's going forwards.
Cooper is definitely not backwards for the most of it. Tom McLaughlin stated that in the interview in season 2, because I remember we asked him that for the season 2 interview on the DVD set. And he said if I had to do anything backwards, I'd still be there.
Sycamore Trees is one of my favorite songs. I mean, I know there's not that many, but I just love this song.
It is my favorite song.
Wasn't it planned to be in the Ronnie Rocket film?
Yes, the lines of dialogue were in an early draft of Ronnie Rocket. The exact lines of dialogue. Yeah, I've got idea, man. You take me for a walk under the sycamore trees. That whole thing, but that was a really early draft. And so he wrote it way back when, around the time of Eraserhead. Those lyrics.
This image of him staring is just.
Because this has been something that I feel like I've asked other people before. Is if this episode is improvised. how did David Lynch improvise an entire song and orchestra to play it and Jimmy Scott to sing it? Like, you can't improvise that.
Yeah, no, he had that planned for sure.
I love this. I love the shot of just Cooper staring and the lights flashing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
wonderful. And if you notice the flash, it's not just a strobe, it's actually the lights hitting very specific spots in the sequence.
Yeah.
It's not a straight out strobe, and that makes it even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes like left to right, left, like...
Right. Yeah, it's a sequence. Yeah. A sequence of lighting cues very quickly. I remember the first time seeing this, getting a little bit spooked the way that little Mike turns and looks at Cooper during this scene. I don't remember why. There's something spooky about that.
Well, he kind of looks into the frame.
But it's towards Cooper. I just remember something. I don't know what it was. Something about it the first time I saw it just got me.
Well, this episode was just overwhelming the first time you see it. I mean, it still is now, but watching it on network television way back when, I mean... it was just crazy.
So do we all agree here that this is the best episode up to this point that we're at now?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. It's my favorite episode.
It's mine too, so I'm just wondering if I guess we all do agree on that.
I think it's the best. I don't know if it's my favorite. I mean, I love 14, but I mean, this is way, way right behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite is Fire Walk with Me, and to me this is a preamble to Fire Walk with Me. This is when you're starting to get into what Fire Walk with Me brings out, and what I think season 3 will do so much more of.
I think for me, I was just going to say, on episode 14, it's more of an emotional sequence towards the end when you find out who Laura's killer is, so I think that kind of affects me more, but overall this is probably the strongest episode. I mean, especially taking into account that it was mostly rewritten as it was filmed.
Well, I was just going to say that what you were talking about in 14 is the best moment of Twin Peaks, but part of me thinks maybe Leland's interrogation is the best moment, because I think it's the best acting. Like, Ray Wise's acting when he's being interrogated.
That's probably true.
That, I don't know.
The best bit of acting in this series.
Yeah.
You're talking about when he's interrogated before he dies, or when he's interrogated after...
Before he dies, when he's Bob, basically.
Right, when he's Bob, yes. Oh, yeah, that is incredible.
Well, really?
That scene, and then his death scene, the combination of those two. That, when he's Bob, and then his death scene.
I was actually talking about the first interrogation scene where he's...
coming out of the hole.
Yeah, coming out of the hole in the ceiling and stuff. Or whatever.
That's great, too. I think Todd Holland directed that.
Yeah,
I just interviewed him on the Red Room podcast, and he told some great stories about it. Sherilyn Fenn is a beautiful at this point. I mean, just strikingly the best she ever looked in the series. I mean, I was so in love with Sherilyn Fenn when the show was on. It was ridiculous. And
I just showed this show to a friend of mine for the first time, and he didn't like it very much, but he loved her.
I've got to say, Audrey at Laura's funeral with her hair slicked back, that is my favorite Audrey.
Really?
She looks like something out of a Robert Palmer music video.
See, this Audrey right here, and there's a time when she's in Ben's office by the fireplace. Mm-hmm. Those were always my two, but I don't know. I just loved Sherilyn Fenn so much.
Which one by Ben's office? The one in the episode before this where she's in the red dress?
Yes, yep. Those were always... I think as the series went on, she just got more and more beautiful. And I love Mr. Midler here. He's he's such a Lynch character.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So crazy they brought him back for Fire Walk with Me.
I think I must have forgotten. I don't know if he was in the script originally, but it was such a great surprise to see him in that scene. I mean, I love that scene with Jack Nance and the missing pieces.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
don't think anyone knew about that. Josh, did you even know that existed before you saw the missing pieces?
I knew it existed, but I knew there was about a 2x4, and I knew it existed, but I didn't know what the dialogue was going to be. So it was. I mean, I knew of its existence, but I didn't know all the little details. So it was great to see.
Mm-hmm. Josie looked great in that scene too. from the missing
Yes.
pieces.
Untrimmed, do we have any of those?
The reason that I like this scene is, to me, it's a bookend to Senior Drool Cup coming back and forth with Cooper laying on the floor. So you're beginning and ending season 1 in the same way, with a really long, prolonged scene of an old guy walking back and forth. So
Yeah.
it's not just in here as filler.
Yeah, it bookends season 2 for sure. And also, I mean, it's a total David Lynch thing to do that. You know, when you have Cooper in the lodge and everybody's wanting to know what's going to happen with that, and then you've got Del Midler shuffling across the room in this scene. It's you know, talk about anxiety building.
Well, you know, one of the things that I have been thinking about doing, and I guess I got to be quick because I want to do it before season 3, is I really want to like get a bunch of original watchers and capture memories that are going to be forgotten. And one is that this episode is structured against network television. So Lynch put all the commercials in the front half, so he could have what we're about to get to have the Red Room sequence play with no commercials. And you got to remember, this was at like 10:35 at night on I think it was a Monday night, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But you know, you always usually fill commercials at that time, and so that was against network television's rules, really, in the way they do it. Does anyone remember that?
I remember hearing that. How does a creator get the authority to decide when the commercials air on his show?
Typically, they don't.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, it never happens. They always heavyweight the episode in the front and do the commercials in the back, and so it's something that on Netflix and now the way people watch it, they would never notice or care.
ABC was probably just like, thank God this is about to be over.
Yeah.
Little did they know.
I would love to know what Bob Iger thinks, or if he's going to watch the third season coming up.
It would be interesting.
So has ABC relinquished all rights to the show, basically, to Showtime?
Well, it went over to CBS before, and CBS owns
right.
Showtime.
You're right. Oh, right.
So yeah, ABC doesn't have the rights anymore. It's all with CBS now.
Mm-hmm. Just so odd. It's a boy. It's a boy. Just these random things.
I had a theory for a while that, and it still could be true, that the bank. Well, back before the book actually kind of blew my theory up, but I had a theory that the bank guard's son was going to play a role in season 3, because he says it's a boy and then blows up. So I assumed the bank guard got killed in the bank, and then his son was going to have a chip on his shoulder 25 years later. Mm-hmm. But maybe not now, because according to if the book is accurate, bank guard didn't die. So
yeah,
but we'll see.
Poor Pete, didn't deserve it.
Pete did not deserve it. But he definitely did not have time to go run over and shield Audrey.
Is that how the book plays it out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see right there that it goes right off in his face. There's no...
Yeah.
I think we should get married.
Bobby?
So Bobby and Shelley, I guess they get the only happy ending in addition to Lucy and Andy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them. I like them.
Except for the fact that Leo's probably up in the woods having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Momentarily.
I have to catch myself. I said happy ending there, but obviously we're going to find out what happens to Bobby and Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Lucy and Andy, I mean, their kid has to be Michael Cera, right?
Has to be, yeah.
That seems to be what is the common theory. I don't know for sure, but
it's gotta be.
Okay, Josh, here's a trivia question. The woman with the black hair that was at the end of the counter behind them.
The shaking hand.
Who is that? Do you know?
You know, I've tried to find out and been unable to. But she's in it many, many, many times throughout season 2.
Yeah, she is the one with the shaking hand, right?
Yeah. She's the one with the shaking hand with the wool hat on.
A very interesting looking lady.
The counter in this scene. And she's also, you know, that she's at the Miss Twin Peaks Judging and Rules Committee in episode 26. You'll see her again in episode 10, sitting at a booth near where James and Maddie are. I mean, she just pops up again and again and again. Mostly in the diner, but that one scene in the Roadhouse, too.
All right, so who is Sarah Palmer speaking for?
Wyndham Earle.
And why?
Well, that gets into a whole theory.
We like theories.
Doesn't everything?
Scott, I think we did this one extensively on the Red Room podcast, but we talked about this one a lot. But it's a whole possible thing about that Wyndham Earle may be controlling the doppelgangers in the lodge, has temporary control in the lodge, and is controlling the doppelgangers. That's why Wyndham Earle's face flashes really quick when you see Laura's face when she's screaming. And that's why when the faces are changing, when it goes from, you know, Caroline, Annie, back to Laura, back to Wyndham Earle is the last face you see because he's controlling all those doppelgangers to taunt Cooper. So he has
I'm not even so certain if we actually see Wyndham Earle or Annie in the lodge. I mean, I almost kind of think that Bob could be manipulating Cooper's entire experience in the lodge.
You mean that the Wyndham we see is actually manipulated by Bob and not actually Wyndham?
Yes.
The only thing that I don't like about that theory, Brad, is the fact that we see Bob take Wyndham, and why would he do that just for Cooper's sake? I'm not sure that... I don't know if that would jive.
Let me rewind. I think we see Wyndham, but maybe Annie. I don't know if we really see her true self in the lodge.
Here's another one. How do we not know that it's Annie? What if it's Annie's doppelganger that escapes at the end of the lodge too?
Yeah, it could be.
Sure.
That's
That's definitely true.
You know, the same way it's the bad Cooper. What if it's the bad Annie? You know, everybody's got a doppelganger that's well on the threshold.
Like
right.
the evil Cooper and evil Annie have just been raising hell for 25 years. That would be pretty
cool. Exactly.
Oh, I got chills.
I would love to know what inspired the "I'll see you again in 25 years" line. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, well, because they're old in the dream.
I think the dream.
It was just they were trying to tee to that, and now we're going to say it's here.
But why did they choose? What was the reason for deciding 25 years when they originally filmed that dream? Like, what was
the dream?
plan?
It was originally alternate ending. It all started with the alternate ending to the pilot. When David Lynch did he had to do the European ending to have a closed movie, and the 25 years later was the ending to that.
Yeah,
and it says 25 years later.
Yeah, but it's like 25 years later, the world has gone insane and everything is backwards. It's like if there was no mention that you're in an alternate reality or like a secret pocket dimension or anything. It's just like this is what the world looks like 25 years later.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out a rare gripe and criticism that I don't really hear too often. Cooper's makeup in that first Red Room scene was really not good. I mean, you can look at his neck and see it like bubbling up.
Yeah.
I really wish that his makeup had been done a lot better for that particular scene.
Yeah.
Especially with HD nowadays. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of
totally.
They weren't anticipating, HD TVs and Blu-rays back then too. They thought, TV. Well, of course, that was supposed to be a theatrical feature. So then again. You could see a lot on a 35mm print.
Well, I thought you were going to say this criticism. I actually don't like One and the Same because, I'm like, really? If you hadn't figured out that the old man was the giant, you didn't need to be told in the last episode. Like, they make it pretty clear in 16 or 15, whichever one. It's 16, I think.
Here's the thing. I've introduced a lot of people to the series. I've taken a lot of people through the entire show. And I'd say only about 70% of them figured that out before this moment.
No, that's horrible. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Lynch put that line, and let's put it that way, because he doesn't usually like to tell you things like that. He likes to show you. But
I do wish Senor Drool Cup had showed up when they're rehearsing for the pageant, because the giant shows up, but we don't see Senor Drool Cup at all.
Yes, he should have been. It almost seems as though Mayor Milford was taking his place temporarily in that scene.
Right.
Because he appears where Mayor Milford was, but that doesn't mean anything. He also appears where Julie Cruz was. So.
I remember the first time I saw this when he says, "Wow, Bob, wow." I just remember thinking, "Oh God, Bob's going to show up."
Yeah. I remember freaking out when he said that.
I am already terrified. I was like, I don't want to see him. Like, I want to see him, but I really don't.
Is the little man evil?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one way we know for sure.
His Facebook.
Oh God.
That side.
Sorry.
Another is that basically he is the arm. He says, "I'm the arm," which represents the arm of the one-armed man. And the one-armed man cut off his arm because that was the arm with the fire walk with the tattoo, which is making him do. So if he's the embodiment of the evil arm, he's evil.
However, the little man has a doppelganger.
Who's even more evil, I guess. Or maybe he's the good one.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the original one's evil, then the doppelganger would be good.
He just looks scary, but he's good.
If Wyndham, and here's another question. If Wyndham met his doppelganger when he entered, what was that like? Was his doppelganger like a super nice guy?
I imagine all the doppelgangers are just even more evil.
I mean, the wonderful thing about this episode is I think it just gets better with every rewatch, and it really rewards reviewing it because it's almost hypnotic. I mean, Cooper keeps going back and forth between these two rooms, and it's something you just can't watch once. I mean, I love watching this over and over and trying to figure out, where things really go off the rails for Cooper.
I can watch this again and again too. This one, it does not get old. It puts you in that certain mood, and it's almost like if you listen to a song that you love, you can hear it a bunch of times and it doesn't get tiring. Same kind of thing.
That's disturbing.
So, what color do you guys think the floor is?
It looks brown here, but I thought it was black.
I know everyone says it's white and black, but I don't think the floor of the lodge is white and black. I don't know if it's the coloring, but it's off a little bit.
A lot of it is it's the coral filters they used.
Okay.
You'll notice certain times it looks more white and black. A lot of it's because they use these orange coral filters, which put kind of an orange tint on the whole thing, which would make it look have more of that appearance to it.
In Firewalk with Me, it seems much more black and white.
Yeah, and that's because I don't think Firewalk with Me didn't seem to use the same amount of orange filters, the coral filters. So I think it is black and white, but I think it's the filters that make it appear more kind of tan and brownish.
Makes sense.
That's my guess.
Because when everyone started selling the black and white chevron stuff, I was like, no, that's not the color. I mean, that's the picture I used to have on my screensaver and that long shot, but...
Right. So I'm wondering, too, if we're going to get any sequence similar to this in the new season. Any kind of lodge stuff that's going to rival this is going to be interesting to see.
I don't even know if I want them to try this again. Like I don't know how they could beat this. It might just seem too derivative.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, there's a bunch of lodge stuff in Firewalk with Me, too.
Yeah.
And there might be some unused Red Room stuff from Firewalk with Me.
Oh my god.
I hate that. Like in a dark room with Laura screaming at full blast, it really disturbs me.
Yeah.
She is so scary when she wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Ow, my aorta.
And you see the quick flash of Wyndham Earl in there, too, when she's screaming. That I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I noticed that the first few times that I watched it, but...
Yeah. There's a very quick flash of him in that. Yeah, screaming there.
What does that mean? Does that mean he's, controlling that doppelganger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's Wyndham Earle. I think Wyndham Earle's playing. And plus, we know Wyndham Earle stabbed Cooper, and the fact that now he's been stabbed, that also would be another reason for why it was Wyndham, not Laura or the good Laura.
It plays into Cooper's memories of being stabbed. Interesting thing is too that when he starts bleeding there, you can also wonder if that is his stab wound or his gunshot wound. But I think later find out that it's definitely his stab wound.
Annie?
I love how this plays in with the Cooper tapes book, which I really like, and I'd love to see Kyle MacLachlan do an audio of that.
That would be incredible.
I'm also a big fan of that book. I think it's really cool, and it ties into some very interesting theories too, especially when the show gets to the Red Room here.
Yeah, I'd like to. That book brings a lot of questions. There's a lot of interesting questions that are raised in that book that would be interesting to have addressed. All the stuff about Cooper and his mother is particularly interesting.
His brother seems like an interesting character too, and it seems like they were going to bring the brother character on at some point.
I remember hearing they were.
He even had him cast, I think.
They did, yeah. Yeah, Emmett Cooper was going to be in the series. He was being set up for that. Because, the same way how Laura Palmer's Diary came out and had, Nancy mentioned and Harold Smith mentioned, before they appeared on the show. I think it was a similar thing that, Cooper's brother would have shown up in, if it's season 3, it happened back then, rather than now. Who knows, he could still show up now for all we know.
They should have had Harold Smith in the lodge. That would have been a nice touch.
Yeah, but he would have liked that he couldn't get out because he's a shut-in.
So, I mean, really, in the next 5 or 6 minutes, I think this is really just the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it really is just so mind-blowing, and it really makes me wonder just how in the world it could possibly be topped in the upcoming season.
I'm so curious to find out, though.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't think Heather Graham's coming back. And I'm just judging that from the actress perspective. I mean, it's weird she's even in this. Like, the rest of her career does not mesh with being in this episode.
No.
Yeah, Austin Powers 2 and The Hangover, whenever I see those movies and I see Heather Graham, I'm just like, that's not Annie.
Right. And I would like to say that Annie does disappear there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that goes with my theory, too.
Maybe that's just the good Annie that disappears.
Oh, man.
Do you think David Lynch resented having to put Wyndham Earle in this episode?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think he liked the character.
He may not have, but I can't imagine that. I mean, it's so well done here.
I think he liked how he played him. He plays him slightly differently. He's just a lot less talkative.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about the second season of Twin Peaks, but it brought us here.
Yeah. Is this Frank Silva's real voice? Or is he overdubbed by somebody?
That's Frank Silva, but he's not actually double reversing. He's just, fake double reversing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wyndham isn't screaming in reverse either.
Huh.
Yeah, that's all forward, that part.
Huh. Except for that right there, I imagine.
After 30 takes, they were probably like, just do it and do it forward.
Right.
Let's get out of here.
Well, and I feel like the story is this is super late at night, right, Josh? Like they worked on this for a full day and it went super late into the night.
Oh yeah, they'd be super late hours in something such as this. I don't know. They probably would have done it day because it's soundstage shooting, but it would have been a long day and it would have been into night at this point for sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's why there's those other pictures where people showed up, like Charlotte Stewart's watching them film and Dana Ashbrook. And
when I was doing my book, I would always ask about what they remembered about this, and even the crew members would say we went really late finishing those Red Room scenes, and it was almost like a big hallucination because they were fighting sleep and also putting together just all this crazy intense stuff.
And I just remember hearing that Frank Silva did just, in Fire Walk Me To, when he was the Eye of the Fury of My Momentum and the Missing Pieces, that's recorded forwards when Frank Silva would do it.
Now, is Leland Palmer actually in the Black Lodge, or is there just a doppelganger of him in here? Is he trapped in here like Laura?
I think it's a doppelganger. But it's hard to say for sure. Because he's behaving slightly differently.
If you look up top, you can see the top of the Red Room, or the curtains.
Oh yeah, right up there, yeah.
I don't think I've ever caught that before.
Do we know who's playing the double of Cooper?
Steve Penzerhofer is the
I knew you would know.
You made up that name.
Nope, I can prove it.
Penzerhofer.
I can prove it. I will send you something to prove it when we get off the phone.
What else did he do in the series? Anything?
Nothing that I know of.
Ah.
But I know for a fact that is the name of the person that played the double.
Annie!
What happened to her anyway? Did she get punched in the nose?
She'll be fine.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to recreate this set, or if they would have any use for Cooper's room in the new season. I guess it depends on if he planned.
I always wondered if the evil Cooper paid his bill. I mean, he had a month of staying there and a month of room service. I mean, did he just trash the room and leave, or what?
You think the FBI would pick it up?
Bill it to the government.
Gordon Cole paid. Yeah, Gordon paid for it.
I need to brush my teeth.
But not if Gordon found out it was the evil Cooper, then Gordon would probably say, you know what? No.
Reverse the charges.
Yeah, charge to him. Let him go work in the kitchen at the Great Northern. Let him work in the kitchen in the timber room.
Now, when you first saw this, did you guys already know that something was wrong?
Oh,
At
yeah.
this point? Yeah.
It had been spoiled for me. So I knew that he was going to see Bob in the mirror, but I didn't know it would be as startling as smashing his face into the mirror.
Fortunately, it had not been spoiled for me, so I had no idea, which was great because it was a total surprise. I mean, I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know it was going to be that. And then when I saw the mirror, I remember thinking, "Oh no, there's a mirror. Oh no."
I do love watching this with people that are watching it for the first time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's the best. You got to watch their face when this happens.
Yeah, there's usually gasps.
They're already stunned by this point from everything that came before.
Mm-hmm. No, my friend who I just showed it to recently, he liked season 1, but then season 2, he's like he didn't really like it. He said it was weird for weird's sake. So
How far did he see?
He saw the whole thing. He watched everything.
He didn't like episode 14 or 29 or...
No,
9 or 10?
He really didn't like this episode. I kept telling him it was the best episode, and he's like, it was too weird. He said it's just weird for weird's sake.
Well, I always say Twin Peaks is not for everyone.
No, yeah, that's evident. Yeah.
And the wonderful thing about this scene, I know I kind of joked around saying I wonder if Cooper paid his bill, but I mean, I would love to just know exactly what all went down. The rest of this day and the next few days. I do hope we get some kind of a clue in this upcoming season, but
I would think we'd have to. I mean, that's kind of the big cliffhanger. I remember originally thinking that the book was going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think everyone thought that, and I think that was what was such an interesting choice for Mark Frost to do, is to just not give everyone what they wanted. I mean, it's interesting.
Well, I think
that
there's
maybe
rumors of the second book.
That does it?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe the second book after season 3 airs that kind of goes into all of that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know.
I'd never noticed that before. The legendary Jimmy Scott, it says in the credits.
Yeah.
Well, yep, that was my favorite episode.
Mine too.
Anything else to add on episode 29?
I just think they're never gonna make another episode. I think that's the final one, and you're never gonna see any more. Give it up, people. It's not coming back.
It's been 25 years. What do you like?
Yeah, they would have done it by now.
I know it's not
Right.
feasible for them to do it. I mean, who would watch it?
Yeah,
Showtime decided to just trash, the third season they just filmed.
What
They're
if
gonna
they did?
take the loss and run.
Right in the trash
Can you only
can.
imagine the letter writing campaign if they tried to do that? Can you only imagine?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be the deleted scenes all over again.
Yeah, and we ended up getting those, so go
Right.
figure.
Yeah.
On that one. We got
Another thing I will add to that episode is I always wanted to talk to the lady who edited this episode. Her name was Toni Morgan, and I never could find her. And unfortunately, she passed away, I believe, in I want to say 2013 or 14. But she did some really interesting episodes, and I really wish at some point she had been able to tell some stories about her creative process.
Really? Had she? She's the only what?
The only editor that is on the show that's no longer with us. Yeah.
Did she edit any other episodes of Twin Peaks?
Many.
Oh, okay.
In fact, she kind of went in a kind of a circle with a lot of the episodes that kind of went from Jonathan Shaw, Paul Trejo, and Toni Morgan alternated quite a bit. I mean, it's not exactly sequential that they alternated, but they did a lot of alternating throughout. So she did quite a few.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks very much, guys. That was great.
Absolutely.
Does Josh, do you have anything going on that you want to plug?
Sure. I wish I would have had this by now, but I've got a U.S. distribution and release date on not a release date yet, but a U.S. distribution on Spreading Darkness, my latest film, the one with Eric Roberts and John Savage and Dominique Swain, James Duval, Robert Davi. John Savage is also a season 3 cast member, interestingly enough.
Nice.
And I don't have a release date yet, so.
Okay.
But look for it.
Well, you got to try to get on that podcast I sent you. I was there too. Get one of your celebrity friends onto that podcast. You can sit in on the interview, and then it's a perfect opportunity to pimp your movie.
Awesome. That is a good idea. Thank you. I'm definitely going to contact that guy about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. And then I'm working on another project, getting another script to go, a comedy, and I'm very happy with. And
oh, cool.
I'll say more about that later, but that's the next one. So working on that, and that's kind of what I've been up to.
Cool. Are you writing it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Brad? What you got going on?
See, well, I've got my podcast, The Brad Duke Show. I haven't done as many episodes this year as I would like because I'm working on another book that'll be out next year. It's not about Twin Peaks, but it's about another old TV show. So that's keeping me busy. I'm having fun with it, and hopefully the podcast will be picking up here in a little bit.
Cool. Are you able to tell us what the book's about? Which show?
Yeah, I'm just not ready. I'm almost ready, but not quite.
All right, and Scott, what do you got going on?
Well, I have a book coming out June 7th called 30-something at 30, and it is a oral history of the ABC series 30-something, which actually got canceled on the same day that Twin Peaks got canceled, as a little bit of trivia for you. So they were on at the same time, and then the Blue Rose magazine, which we already talked about. So
cool.
You can check all that out at scottryanproductions.com.
Sweet. So yeah, I think all you guys are signed up for at least one guest spot on season 3 with me, I think.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
So we'll see you all then.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and
are we gonna do Fire Walk with?
Yeah, if you guys are up for it, we can do it.
Or the missing pieces, or
that, yeah, we can discuss it. So that might be coming, listeners. Fire Walk with Me commentary. If it doesn't, then the next time you hear from us will be when season 3 starts. But thanks for listening. And you got something to add?
I just had a couple months.
Yeah, it's almost here. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Survive, everyone, survive.
Yes, we all need to survive. That is very important. Drive safely.
Right.
Look
Wear
above
your
your head at all
seatbelt.
times. Walking up, just survive.
Drive safe and cut down on the trans fats.
Chew slowly.
And
Yeah.
don't let Doc Hayward smash your head into a fireplace.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Take those swimming lessons you've been meaning to take. All the things. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.